Formula E kicks off its 11th season of the All-Electric Championship here in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Welcome to the Sao Paulo Street Circuit, a total of 2.933 kilometers, 11 turns in total. Turn 1, a downhill braking zone as well after the strip into an overtaking zone as well. Turn 3 is your attack mode. Turn 5, very tight chicane. That is very much an incident zone on the circuit. You've got to be very careful there as it backs up on itself. Down at turn 10, that's where we saw the race-winning overtake the last lap as well. Sam Bird right round the outside, taking victory in what is an awesome move. Attack mode at turn 3 is going to be crucial in the race as well. Well, Sao Paulo is a wonderful city and it's a wonderful atmosphere as Formula E returns for the third time, sambering on the streets here of the Sambadrome. Welcome to round 1 of the season. And it's a championship that will range here on the 7th of December before going over to Mexico City on the 11th of January. 14th and 15th of February sees a doubleheader, this time at the Jeddah Corniche circuit for a month's break. Going over then to Miami on the 12th of April. Doubleheaders then in Monaco the 3rd and 4th of May. 17th and 18th take us to Tokyo, Japan. And then we're back at the end of May, beginning of June for Shanghai. Jakarta is a single header round before Berlin takes us to a double the 12th and 13th of July. And it all rounds out in London's XL on the 26th and 27th of July. A 16-round calendar for the 11th year of ABB FIA Formula E. And it all kicks off right here, right now. Welcome to 2025 for ABB FIA Formula E. The session is moments away. Let's cross over to Nikki Shields, Andre Lotterer and Katie Munnings.
No, you guys are proper experts, so we are absolutely delighted to have you with us today. How good is it to be back in Formula E? I mean, we've got so much to talk about. New drivers, new teams, new circuits, a new car. What are you most excited about?
Oh, I just can't wait to see it all come together. As we said, there's some complete different lineups on the grid with teammates. I think the new car is going to be so exciting. All the drivers are talking about attack mode and how the four-wheel drive is going to make a difference. They're all saying how much fun it is to drive as well. I think we're going to see a lot more overtakes this year, and especially on this track. I think that, yeah, a lot of damage could be done with that.
Uh-oh. It's going to get exciting. Andre, what's caught your eye?
Well, I'm really excited to see the drivers handle the new tires. I think there's a lot of potential to come out on this tire 1.5 seconds faster than last year, but only on one lap. So qualifying is going to be very tricky for them to get the right lap. And yeah, the all-wheel drive, I think we're going to see like really good accelerations. Reaction time at the start will be crucial because that traction, you know, if you're a bit late, you're going to see a big difference. So yeah, just can't wait to see the boys go out there and put on a good show.
Oh, I'm sure they will. Now, this is, of course, the first time that we see the cars go out on track since Madrid. It was Mitch Evans who did a phenomenal job in testing, but it was Pascal Wehrlein who managed to clinch just that championship title. It was a massive moment, Jaguar versus Porsche, but Pascal snatched it from under the grips of Jaguar. So who do you think, you know, looking at what we saw in season 10, but also looking ahead to what we've seen testing and what is to come, who do you think could be up there fighting for the top?
I really think it's got a lot closer. I mean, in the pre-season testing, I think there was 6 different drivers from 6 different teams that topped the 6 different sessions. So that just shows how close it is across the board. I mean, we were saying earlier, there's not really a weak team in Formula E anymore.
No.
And the margins are so small. I can't believe with the qualifying shootouts now, the margins and the duels, it's unbelievable.
It's going to get tighter and tighter. We always say it. Is it the most competitive year yet? Possibly. Who do you think the surprise package is going to be, Andre?
Yeah, very hard to say. You know, it's a super competitive field. There's, like you said, no poor team on the grid anymore. So some underdogs can perform really well, like Dan Ticktum on the Porsche powertrain. Yeah. But then I hear the Mahindra team has also worked on a very good powertrain as well. So I think, you know, it's all going to be very tight at the front. So I can't decide.
Well, should we find out? Because practice is about to get underway now. After this 40-minute session, we will be down in the pit lane bringing you plenty of gossip, all the interviews, so join us then. In the meantime, it's Ben Edwards and James Rossiter.
Away we go for the first free practice session of 2025. Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, wherever you are in the world. And welcome to what we are going to be in for a very interesting race. The Championship Challenge starts here. The battle starts here. So we've seen the calendar, we've seen the information, and first out there on the circuit is Cassidy as well. So getting all set and all ready to go. Fingers crossed as well. It's going to be a nice run in for the championship, a nice little situation in total. Let's have a quick word as the cars head out now with the team as well.
How important is this over the course of the weekend? You've been a Formula E driver, you've been running a team. How important is this part?
It's crucial, and especially here, the first event of the new season, to get all the data, to check and correlate everything from your simulator session to make sure that everything you learn in testing is applied. There's so much going on in the background inside the teams. And then, of course, the drivers have to get their eye in. They haven't been, on a street circuit, ready to battle in over 6 months.
Absolutely, I can understand that. Well, it's lovely to see that two Lolas are out on the circuit, the Lola Yamaha Apt team, and this is a new team, effectively. The Apt team is still the group, a team that's been very involved in Formula E for a long time, but Lola is now the name that's back in motorsport, which is lovely to know. And with the two cars, one of them being driven here, of course, by Lucas Di Grassi, a champion in 2016 when he was with Audi, and a youngster who has now joined Formula E, Zane Maloney, who's shown some brilliant talent in Formula 2, but he's missing the last Formula 2 race of the year in Abu Dhabi to race here in Brazil instead. So it's lovely to see him out there, and we'll see how the youngster gets on.
Yeah, the boy from Barbados, as they've nicknamed him, and he seems to be an incredible talent. He's definitely got everything that's needed to succeed in this championship. It's going to be great to see how he challenges Lucas Di Grassi and how the two of them will drive forward this new Lola Yamaha Formula E team.
Yeah, it's a fantastic atmosphere as well to come into it, and a brilliant sort of charge off point as well that we're going to be having them adapt and run with coming into this battle as well. So FP1 is underway and the cars venture around this circuit as well. Just fingers crossed it's going to be a nice easy run. I've got my TV picture synced up. There's Jaguar as well on their front wing nose cone. And we welcome you up to the comms box as well for the first time today. Hello, everybody. We're back for a new year, are we? How great it's going to be. Full course yellow test is coming out as well. There we see Mitch Evans out there for the Jaguar squad. So Cassidy does a full time on the board. Let's hear from Racer on control.
The series to have enough points on the license to be eligible.
Okay. That was just
full course yellow tests. That's a normal procedure during free practice from the race director to see that all the full course yellow speeds are correct. The teams want to check it as well. So so there's no incident here. It's just a regular procedure check at the beginning of the session.
Absolutely right. And James Barkley, team principal of Jaguar TCS, just keeping an eye on this.
Full course yellow ending in
and
5,
we are
4,
now hearing
3,
that is coming
2,
to an end.
1, green flag, please.
And the race.
And we're back underway for this session.
Scott Elkins is normally the race director of this, but he isn't available just for this weekend. So it's the man who's been deputy of recent times has now taken over that role, hasn't he?
Yeah, so he was for many years the race director, doing a very good job, and now we have someone else for this race, so let's see how he gets on, but I think it should be all right. And just before we saw the image of Johnny Gavern relaxing in the garage, and that was exactly what I was talking about before with James, that with the new characteristic of these tires, will make some drivers wait a bit because there's a peak and they want to restrict the mileage.
Yeah, I think you said.
Yeah, it's a great run as Di Grassi then comes downhill into the 5 and 6 chicane and loops it back around. It's a tricky circuit to get right. We've also introduced who's in the pit lane and who stopped on the circuit as well, in case we have that. Di Grassi's first sector, that's at a good enough time. Now this year, we've got something new. We have our TNT Sport pictures that are up on the world feed. However, that's not going to last too long as we've got the world feed pictures being broadcast as well on the monitor directly below us. So if there's any problems or heaven forbid something goes to an ad break, we can see the action even when the tracker is not on TV. So We solved the problem, and I hope you all enjoyed our Formula E shakedown coverage. We're hoping to continue that throughout the week as well. The two Lolas have gone top at the moment. Lucas Di Grassi on a 1:13.951 for the Lola Yamaha Apt Formula E team. Lola coming in as the manufacturer, Yamaha coming in as the sort of battery sponsor supplier, and then Apt as the team it was originally. Here is the 2023 champion, Jake Dennis, 63 races to his name as well, out over there at Andretti. There's Oliver Rowland at Nissan, so close to the title as well last year. Manufacturer, of course, for Nissan. Won the final race of the year back in London. He's got the nerve and the grip for it as well. Here we see now flying it in. And TDS Racing Squads. So this is Taylor Barnard coming down on the circuit now. Oh, he is running in quite hard as well. Over the bumps. First sector for Barnard is a 24.947. Middle sector keeping it up as well. Oh, there we go, let's sync up again. Under the bridge. Sam Bird's gone third for Neo McLaren, 1:17.773. The times this year, they have changed. It's now a 40-minute session for Formula E's two practices, no longer 30. So they have the maximum run around as Barnard over the line and stays in fourth position. So Di Grassi, Maloney, Bird, Barnard, Frines, Evans and Cassidy so far have the top 7. Let's check in with the guys in the comms box there.
They were in the sort of 1:12s. I know it can vary a lot though with the temperatures that we've got on this track.
It can indeed. I mean, as Andre was saying earlier, you've got the different tyres this year, so we're going to see a difference in lap time and in performance. But noticing that already on Luke's fourth flying lap, he's already down into low 1:13s. Suggests that Lola is pretty fast.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt about that. Zane Maloney currently second. Sam Bird is in third place, and Taylor Barnard, who we were looking at just a moment ago, is up there in fourth. So both McLarens are showing well, but of course not everybody out doing the laps. We're looking at the two Envisions. The green livery that you're looking at there on those two machines are the Envisions, and you're looking at Robin Frines, who's the first of the two in number 4. He's currently 5th fastest, as we can see. Cassidy's just popped up into 2nd position, but still a little way off what Lucas Di Grassi has done, interestingly enough. And Robin Frines now just backing off a little bit before coming into the last corner, and he's got his teammate Sebastian Buemi not far behind as well. Buemi, of course, a former champion in Formula E. It's been a while since he's had a victory, and it's a little while since he's had a pole position, to be honest, but still a very competitive racer. You've been racing against him, Andre, in World Endurance as well, so that's all fun and games. We're just having a quick replay. Okay,
Robin there, he's just outbraked himself going to turn 1. It seems like the drivers are trying to get their eye in down there. They're really pushing the limit on the brakes, and Robin taking the opportunity there to dive to the left. You're meant to come to a full stop before you rejoin the track. Not sure he did there, but
maybe in free practice you get away with it, but yeah, turn 1 is quite tricky. You arrive at really high speed, so the braking point is tricky.
Let's go down to Alexa.
Thanks, Ben. Yeah, I'm joined by Ian James of Neo McLaren. And Ian, I wonder if you can firstly talk us through what's going on with the cars heading in and out of track. You guys went out pretty early.
Yeah, I think we want to get a sight on things, obviously, but there's no great rush to really get things going in this session. I mean, it's great that we're out here, finally, season 11, first free practice session, and yeah, just very much looking forward to seeing how the drivers get on, getting a feel for the car, the track, and this new Gen 3 Evo package as well.
Well, we've been talking a lot on commentary about one Taylor Barnard. He's a rookie for us this year, but obviously you had him racing for you guys last year. How's he settled in, taking on that full season driver role?
It's going to be fascinating to see how he gets on with more than 20 minutes warning from getting in the car like he had in Monaco. So, no, part of the reason we've got Taylor on board is we saw the potential. And, you know, Sam's misfortune last year was kind of, in a way, our good fortune in that ability to have Taylor in the car for 3 races. So he's very much earned this opportunity. I'm excited to see how he can get on. I think we've got great things to come from him.
Yeah, we're excited to see too. Thank you, Ian. Back to you, Ben.
Thank you, Alexa. So they are holding it together as Verline went off the track down at turn 1 as as well, just running it in a little bit too deep. So Degrassi, Cassidy, Friends, Maloney, Barnard, Bird, Rowland, Verline, Boemi, Nato, and so Evans now ahead of Nato to come into it. So Jess Ball is going to take you through practice 2 tomorrow with the World Feed, and then herself and Ed Hunter will be on the commentary for the qualifying session, and I'll be back for the E-Prix, the opening race of the season as well. That's because we're on Formula 2 duty. There's a double-header race to go on this weekend. The new Evo cars, though, a bit slimmer on the front. They do look a lot nicer, and that is just a run off the circuit for Pascal Wehrlein there down at turn number 1. So just a little error, but it's all keeping good. Sebastian Buemi moves up into second, as you see Fabrice Roussel as well out there on the monitor. Buemi's moved up to second on 113.341, and this is off track for one of the yes, it is one of the Jaguars. Bit of gold confused me for a second if it was a Chichita, and it's Mitch Evans down into turn 1, locking up the rear and going straight across. Now, Tom Brooks is going to be with us this weekend, but he has to take a few this race off due to the action out there on the circuit, so that's going to change up slightly. TNT predictably have gone to a night break. Not because I can still see the TV pictures, and which means I can relay them to you with James Barkley watching on down there in the garage as well. It's all looking rather good as we get released out onto the track now as well. Riding on board with Pascal Wehrlein, Ben.
From Lucas.
We're on board with Pascal Wehrlein, the reigning champion, and we have seen he's up at the top end actually of the track now. Turns 7 and 8. Uses that curve just a little bit. You can see a bit of movement in the suspension, and we were talking about it earlier, Andre. This is quite bumpy in certain places, not quite so bumpy here, and that's another lovely view from underneath the car. This gives us a very sort of unique opportunity to see the track very close up.
Yeah, the straight line is quite smooth, quite flat, but then when you are approaching turn 4 and 5, like 4, you really have to get out of your comfort zone there. The car is jumping, the wheels want to lock, it's all over the place a bit, but you need to carry the speed in, so yeah, it's a bit tricky. Also onto turn 7 on the braking zone, so that makes that's what makes Formula E interesting, you know, racing on city tracks and setting up the car for such difficulties, and it's actually quite fun, you know, as a driver to go on such tracks. You know, now when you are on traditional racetracks, the asphalt, everything is so smooth, and here it's a bit more hands-on for the drivers, which is quite fun.
We're keeping an eye Stoffel van Dorn with Maserati. In fact, that's his teammate we're just looking at there. But Stoffel van Dorn is definitely one to keep an eye on because he's qualified incredibly well here the last 2 races that have been held in Sao Paulo. So this is only the 3rd ever Formula E weekend at this circuit. But Stoffel van Dorn has taken pole position at one and 2nd on the grid for the other, so he's had some good experience here. Obviously he's switched teams, he's with Maserati now, but we will keep a little bit of an eye on him just to see how it goes. Now Jake Hughes is his teammate, and we're watching Jake Hughes right now. He's been a strong qualifier as well. He's taken pole positions in Formula E, yet to get his first victory.
Also
he is
improvements
currently
there.
9th fastest, as we can see as he comes across the line. Still plenty of time to go in this session. 26 minutes still to go. New team principal there as well, Cyril Blaise, who has now taken on that role and no doubt trying to absorb a lot of information. The 2 Lolas currently running together as well. This new livery, this new team, and we've got a change up at the top. So Sebastian Buemi has now gone quickest. Mitch Evans now in 2nd place, Robin Freins in 3rd. So Lucas de Grassi has now dropped down to 4th place. But as you were saying earlier, James, the track is getting cleaner and cleaner.
He has done, yeah, but it looks like the Lolas are working together now. It looks like Lucas is actually helping train Zane Maloney and give him a little bit of slipstreaming, because that opportunity Zane hasn't had before. I think that you can see the 2 cars working together there, and I'm sure that's to help out the team in general.
Okay, and of course we've got the opportunity to use the 4-wheel drive this weekend as well for the first time in Formula E. Andre, obviously you you know, you've raced Formula E so many times, but this is a new thing, and although they're not in four-wheel drive all the time, there'll be key moments over this weekend when we see it.
Yeah, it is a super cool feature. I can't wait to see that from already the start of the race. I think reaction time will be very crucial there, because
yellow flags out there, guys. Turn 6
of the line will be so strong. So if you're a bit off, then that will be quite noticeable.
Debris.
But then also during the attack mode, also in qualifying, I think we will visually see how the cars are slingshotting out of the corners, and how also the software will react to that from different teams.
I think it's debris down in turn 6. Not too sure where it's come from. We have now gone back to green flag running, so whatever it was, it's disappeared as quickly as it came. Norman Nato to the top now, looking very fast indeed on his runs to the line. Oh, more with Dan Tickton then in the Cooper Cairo squad. Barnard's had his lap time to leave for track limits at lap 9, turn 2 has been focused. Puncture. And this is bad news for the 51 of Nico Muller, who has got a rear right puncture. Now, we saw this here last year a little bit, but we've got softer tyre compounds here this season. The drivers are very worried about puncturing them, damaging them, because if they have to go in a wet race, which could be possible tomorrow, they're worried about how long they can go on these softer compounds, and to lose a tyre this early in the weekend is not great. On a Friday run of free practice, and you're only allowed 3 sets of these Hankook tyres as well across the weekend. So straight in it goes, and it has popped off the rim quite substantially there. So that's going to be a lot of work, unfortunately, for Nico Muller, who is pushed back in to the pit lane and has now joined that list of those in the pits and those who have stopped. Roger Griffiths, team principals, watching on there as well. Let's see what Ben and James Rossiter make of that.
Wow, but that is a huge compromise, because this is so early, doing it in free practice 1. He's got free practice 2 to get into, and then qualifying. My goodness, that would be a tough one.
Very tricky situation for Nico and the team to navigate this one. They're going to have to decide what they do. They're clearly going to have to put another tyre on today for him to get more mileage. But as you said, that's going to compromise the entire rest of his weekend and the team. So difficult moment. And also there could be damage to the gearbox from it looks like it's been a pretty big impact on that rear left corner.
But it's quite early in the session for Nico to put that much risk already. You know, when you build up to it a bit slower, and you can see he might be already under pressure, or wants to make his place in the team against Jake Dennis, which is very, very strong in that team.
Just remind us, Andre, about how gearboxes have developed in Formula E, because in the old days when it first started, and then we are talking a decade ago, it was a 5-speed gearbox, I believe. Nowadays, of course, there's no change of gears, is there?
Yeah, I don't know if you can call it a gearbox anymore, because it's just one gear, so we don't have to shift any gears.
Unit,
but yeah, that can become a very geeky conversation, because the engineers have a 10.6, you see, so that's a perfect example of getting the grip out of the tire in a very good way. Who knows, maybe he's done it on attack mode, so you see how much faster the attack mode is with the 4-wheel drive. So yeah, that would have been surprised me to do that on a regular basis.
But 2 seconds a lap faster than anyone else, that's a huge margin.
It's also also a second faster, just under a second faster than the fastest lap ever done here, which was actually, funnily enough, in free practice 2, March 23. It was DeCoste. He did a 1:11.4, but still 1:10.6.
That's insane.
It just shows us how this 4-wheel drive system is going to make a big difference.
Yeah, unbelievable. I mean, we're not even 20 minutes into the first free practice session. Dirty circuit, and Pascal just goes out and nails that time. I'm sure that is going to put some fear into the rest of the competitors.
It really is, and they said, welcome to our 1 second era. It was the intro to the start of our show, and Verline to obliterate the track limit record before we even get started is insane. Magenta lights then for Robin Frines. He's on a full power time. 15 thousandths off of Verline. So this is a vision's go now as DeCoste goes third. But when he was 2 seconds off, this is Robin Frines now. The final 20 minutes, we're halfway in this practice session. Out of the last corner, Frines up to the line, and he does a 1:10.632. He's 22 thousandths of a second faster across that line. A really sensational time from Robin Frijns. The track's rubbering up every second. We had shakedown earlier on. You saw it on your pictures back at home. We're the only broadcaster in the world who brought you shakedown coverage. So if you want to go watch it, it's in the YouTube channel on JB Motorsports. TV pictures as well from the shakedown. And hopefully we can do that again this season as well. Track clear at turn 6. So whatever was the debris we don't know about. Here is Ollie Rowland down at that braking zone for 5 and 6. So brakes, turns in. Doesn't clip the wall on there. I'm hearing double echoes, which is good. So apparently he scraped the barrier at the exit. There's the Twiglet. Oh, there, he touched the wall. Coming out of turn 3 and 4, down the straight. The wheel's already gone. So he's destroyed the wheel early, and that's why there's debris exit of the chicane. And it had to be blown away on the side of the track. Ah, okay, so now I get it. So 19 minutes to go. Frijns, Verline, Mortara, Rowland, Boemi, Da Costa is on a full power lap time as well as we rejoin down towards turn number 1. The 13 of Antonio Felix Da Costa running off the circuit there. I think was the 20. I think that was the 25 of Jean-Eric Vergne getting out of the way. He's on an out lap. I think it was, yeah. On that monitor. This time was stopped on the circuit and a few out there on the pit lane monitor, so you can keep that going for a little while longer as the timer continues to tick down. Alexis, down to you.
For Jake to come in behind us, but what I want to ask you about, Roger, is that incident for Nico. The team are now working on the rear of the car. Can you kind of talk us through what happened?
Yeah, I mean, it was just a minor brush with the wall, but unfortunately it caught the tyre in such a way that the tyre's deflated. Obviously we got a little bit of suspension damage we're having to deal with. Crew chief thinks 5 to 10 minutes and we should be back out on track again. So yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of a speed bump in our run plan. Hadn't expected to be there this early in the season, but no, we'll be out on track in just a few minutes time. So yeah, we'll recover from it and we'll keep going with the program.
And with so much tyre talk this weekend, how does a puncture impact your future plans?
It's not great. We do have the opportunity to take a joker tyre. We get one per season, and it's a little frustrating to take it this early in the championship. But it is what it is. It's the hand we've been dealt, so we'll just carry on. We'll adjust the plan. Lost a little bit of running for Nico, obviously, but you know, maybe on the positive side, not as many miles as on the tyres as some of the other teams. So we'll take the good where we can get it. So
thank you, Roger. I will let you get back to the team.
Thanks, Alexa. And this is a really interesting lap. Sebastian Boemi is in attack mode at the moment. He's coming into the last third of the lap now. And I'm really enjoying watching the cars when they're in this mode because they're dancing much more.
I was just going to say the same thing. I've been watching the cars and the exit of the corner is so cool to see this perfect four-wheel, clean, controlled drift. And used to be like this power oversteers and which was also fun, but I think if that is really cool to see the cars just drift out like in a four-wheel drive way, and maybe they feel a bit like rally drivers.
He's not quite as quick as his teammate though. He's gone 4th fastest, but it's still Robin Frijns in the other Envision who's put together that really good lap.
Yeah, great lap from Robin. It just shows how strong that Jaguar powertrain is as well. I mean, with them up there, we're looking like Jaguar and Porsche super fast. I think that when the others, I'm really interested to see what the Mahindra can do. There have been some rumours that in the pre-season testing, Mahindra were incredibly strong. So see what Edo Mortara's done in the 300. He seems to be the fastest of those runners. So when you go to 350 kilowatts and four-wheel drive, it would be great to see where they are.
Well, I can confirm if you joined us for the pre-season testing coverage from Harama, Mahindra were strong indeed, and they were continuing to be strong throughout the entirety. So what have they got in Gen 3? I said in the shakedown coverage earlier, they hopefully have turned a table and the tide swung back in their favour. So fingers crossed on that front as well, as we get the highest top speed at the circuit last season was 267 kilometres an hour. It's 166 miles an hour as well in the braking zone. Van Dorn Radio.
Dawn?
kind of confidence on the brakes. It's not only turn one. I mean, turn one is probably the most difficult one. Just feels like there is zero grip.
Oh, okay.
That's quite interesting to hear, James, because we've seen a lot of cars go off at turn one. We've seen that bounce with Buemi just now when he was under braking into turn. I wondered if he was going to make it, but he did make it. So it is obviously quite challenging into turn one.
Yeah, normally what the teams do is they take the grip levels from how the previous event finished for their simulations, and therefore they've been working in the simulator last week, probably building up to this, and they've got their reference points, and they go to do that. And turn one seems to be lower grip than they were anticipating. So I'm sure a small recalibration for that. One other interesting thing about this session, the only two cars that listened to Andre Lotterer and waited were the two DS cars.
Yeah, let's see if it's a good plan, but obviously I think we'll find out a bit more at the end of the session.
Okay.
They'll definitely come out on top, I think, because the track is improving and they're good drivers, they know what they do, and they're probably going to maximize and focus on qualifying. I think it's going to be really crucial to get the peak out of the tire, and the better the drivers can feel confident throughout free practice and simulate that, the more confidence they go into qualifying with it.
We're on board with Nick Cassidy right now. Nick's not on a super lap at the moment, I don't think.
No, he's backed
we'll
off.
just see. Phil Ingram is his race engineer. He'll be monitoring everything. They'll be keeping in touch. Actually, is he in attack mode, going into attack mode now, perhaps?
He's switched it on, Ben.
To this lap. And we've got the onboard. And you can see the speeds coming up now as we go down the start-finish straight. So this is heading down into turn one, into that corner where we have seen quite a lot of difficulties under braking. You can see the regeneration of braking again. There's a
he's gone off!
You see? It's gone wrong again.
Pushing to the limit there, the boys. I mean, it's a tricky one, that corner. And you have to commit, you know. You arrive there, 260 kilometers an hour, as you can see with Nick. You have to take every meter on the brakes.
Yeah, and that was actually his first attempt at attack mode. So it's always quite surprising, you know, to arrive with a faster top speed. And you know you're going to have to brake a bit earlier, but you want to brake at the same spot and hope that the extra grip will do.
These guys just did front dampers and rear dampers so fast, unbelievable.
Yeah, so the speed when they've got that four-wheel drive and the extra power is really making a huge difference, and he's reporting that back straight away to the team. Let's just watch him, because it's still fun to watch on this lap, even though it didn't quite work. He's making full use of it now in the latter part of this, and this
Oh, we've lost signal.
Vital penultimate corner, which saw Sam Bird take victory here last year, getting past Mitch Evans through the last corner, run it out to the wall, but try not to touch it too hard. Obviously, this lap is not going to be a very good one after he had to go off into turn one, but still learning from it, aren't they?
And his final sector there was very close.
Well, up that list at the moment, 6th fastest currently, so we shall see how that's going to go. Finished the season off extremely strongly last year.
Yeah,
and we'll see him
hard.
back out. Meanwhile, Lucas Di Grassi now in attack mode as well. Again, the purple lights are on, and we can see that the power is there. Let's just keep an eye on this lap and see whether it's going to bring him up just a bit further from where he is right now.
Yeah, Lucas is pushing now at the last corner, up to the line.
Di Grassi over the line, and yes, he moves up to 4th place. So 2/10.
Yeah, 2/10 over the line as well, which is exactly what they needed to do. So De Grassi moves out with 11 minutes to go in the session.
Effort from the...
It's great to have that Lola Yamaha ABS name all together, the Lola name in particular, which hasn't been in racing for
a long time,
a number of years now, but under new ownership, and this is all part and parcel of it, of course. And Sebastian Buemi, who is up there, he's up in 5th place, but a bit of change going on there.
Interesting to see them removing the tyres.
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to run a second set, Andre?
Good question. They could also just take them off to not have too much heat coming from the brakes, maybe, you know, to set them to cool a bit. But yeah, it could be that they're going for the second set of tire to simulate. I don't know. Is there some rain coming in this session, or tomorrow maybe.
Tomorrow's the rain.
So far, the forecast is actually looking pretty good for tomorrow. So even though we'd had heavy rain yesterday afternoon, December in Brazil, in this part of Brazil, you can often get some thunderstorms, and we were predicted some. But what I've last seen is that it's more likely to be dry and quite hot tomorrow.
That's great news.
So we shall see.
Yeah, maybe they want to sample a bit today already with the second set of tire, or maybe it's closer to qualifying time than tomorrow's session, so to replicate similar conditions.
Well, we shall find out tomorrow. It's all important learning that is going on at this stage. You're watching Mitch Evans, who always has gone well here, just missed out on that victory here last year, but well, the last time they were here, it's the same year, of course, but he had won the previous event here. So Mitch always seems to go very effectively. At the moment, he's down in 12th position, on board with his teammate now, Nick Cassidy, the two Kiwi racers, who had a little bit of discomfort. Let's listen.
Turn one, lack of diesel or looking question?
Both. but I don't understand how we put in an import and make it worse than before.
Oh dear, not good for Cassidy.
Seems not happy with the settings they've changed. Yeah. Something's not going the way he wants, so I think they're scratching their heads.
Yeah, sadly that's going to be given a lot, isn't it, as well? Especially with a brand new generation of car. First time on a street circuit. Harama had a lot of bumps though, and it did help simulate what the circuits are going to be like, but we're kicking off on the streets of Sao Paulo after a long break, and to have any worry with a brand new car is alarming. Robin Friends is fastest then on a 1:10.632. Then it's Verline, Da Costa, Da Grassi, Boemi, Mortara, Rowland, Tictum, Cassidy, Hughes has your top 10. Vern, who's flashing purple, so he's on a full power lap. Nato, Evans, De Vries, Beckman, Dennis, Gunther, Bird, Van Dorn, Maloney, Barnard and Muller. Your 22 starters so far. As we now take a look at Jake Dennis. It's 4/10 down in that first sector. Hard on the brakes down into 4, 5 and 6's chicane. Loop back up the throttle as well and just put pedal to the metal. And they'll brush the circuit after this. We had shakedown earlier. Now we've got free practice 1. So they'll brush it, they'll get the circuit ready, they'll get it all sort of worked up, ready to go. Hughes has gone well, he's now to 4th place, him with Maserati this season. He's on a 1:10.852, so already we're going, I think we've got the top 9 all faster than the fastest ever time around this circuit. So Gen 3 Evo is definitely evolution. Dennis goes 8th, Evans and Van Dorn and De Vries now on lap times. Evans to the top of the board. Great time then from Mitch Evans. It's a 1:10.6 across said line. Much better for Mitch Evans. So time and time again, you see the improvements. James Barclay seems happy enough with that one as well. Right, replay coming in.
Second, but nonetheless, that's impressive. Taylor Barnard getting into a bit of a slide with the Neon McLaren, but dealing with it, holding on. That's down into the hairpin at turn 3. And some other lovely close-ups. Stoffel Van Dorn, who's had some great results here in the past, and you can really see
slide for one
the work
of the
that's going on. As there we are, back with Pascal Wehrlein, currently 3rd fastest. And he's also running attack mode once again, isn't he?
Yeah, Pascal also is about to get a little bit of traffic here at the end of the lap.
Yeah, it's going to block him.
He is going to jump up the timing screens, I think, to the fastest time. No, he's not. So
it's close, though, as we expect in Formula E. But now you've got 0.054 seconds between the top 3 drivers.
Yeah, but Pascal, he looks like he's got a lot in his pocket because his first sector was pretty bad, but Sector 2 was fastest of everyone, and Sector 3 was almost as good as the best. So Pascal's looking good. Again, we see the Porsche powertrain and the Jaguar powertrain seem to be the ones to have.
Okay, no, that's a good point, because we've got Jaguar powertrains 1st and 2nd at the moment. Porsche powertrains 3rd and 4th. Absolutely right. And then the first of the rest is the Maserati power of Jake Hughes. That's a good lap from Jake Hughes. So That's right on board. Oh.
Did he make it?
They're all overcommitting to this turn 1, aren't they,
Yeah.
Andre? They're just going in so deep. Do you not think they would realise a couple of metres earlier on the brakes might be beneficial?
Yeah, well, it's pushing the limits, you know, and if you expect a bit more grip, you go for it, but it doesn't always work.
Certainly pushing hard, aren't they?
Let's watch him through this chicane. You've got to get the exit right and just bring it out to the edge. It's great that we've got these cameras right up on the board so they can see whether they get hit or not. But now in the next straight, so trying to put together an even stronger lap. They must be learning so much at this point. That's the section where you can easily clip the inside. No curbing on the inside of that corner. Coming up to the curve of turn 9, the last 2 corners now, the left and right. We're running on board with Jake Dennis. Let's just see how this goes. He's doing a personal best lap right now. Let's see where it puts him overall.
And he goes fastest.
Wow.
1:10.429.
What a mega lap from Jake Dennis. You can see that the tyres, I think this is going to surprise him a lot because Jake was one of the drivers voicing the strongest Andre and I that the tyres weren't going to last and they were going to have a lot of degradation. But he's just demonstrated, you know, towards the end of the session on that one and only set that he's used to go top. Only briefly, though.
Norman Nato's gone even faster in the Nissan. So we were thinking that Nissan were looking pretty strong. They did at the end of last season. They've been looking good in testing as well. And that's an impressive performance from the 32-year-old Frenchman, Norman Nato, who's been racing in Formula E for 3 years. This will be his 50th start, actually, this weekend. Never had a victory, but that's a good start to the weekend. Okay, it's free practice. Doesn't always mean anything at all, being up the top, but it does give you some confidence going forwards.
He won one race in Berlin.
Oh, yes,
Norman.
of course. Sorry, yes.
He did. He snuck a win in there just before he left left the team.
That's right, Berlin 21, yeah.
Yeah, Edo Mortara there just jumping up into the top 3. Amazing effort from the Mahindra team. They've really gone back and worked super hard since the end of last season on their new powertrain, updated powertrain. It's great to see them there at the front.
So I gave feedback that turn 4 was unstable on the entry, late entry. There was only one bit of feedback I got, and I got nothing back to me.
That's Cassidy.
Nick being very clear that he wants a bit more response from the team. Turn 4, the beginning of the chicane.
I think there's still some tension in that garage between the two of them. Let's not forget how the end of last season was. Just to remind everybody, Nick was in the hunt for this championship, and there was an inter-team battle between himself and Mitch Evans. They came to blows, and neither of them won the championship. Pascal Verlaine got it, and it sounds like Nick is really, you know, he's trying to force his hand here and make sure that gives them exactly what he wants.
Yeah, very interesting. Dan Tickton, we're keeping an eye on now as he goes a little wide into turn 1, but pushing on and actually gets the braking done pretty effectively. So let's see if this is going to be a decent lap for Dan Tickton. We'll keep an eye on the sectors. In fact, De Grassi's just done the fastest first sector of anybody by a massive margin. 0.3 of a second, really.
He's flying out there, really has put it. Oliver Rowland goes to the top, 110.162. Now we are cooking with gas here right now. They're really starting to fly in, get the traction in. Rowland is top. De Grassi's middle sector looks good. Car 9 has stopped. Mitch Evans has stopped at turn 6. So Evans has brought out the yellow flag. And that's going to cancel lap times. We've got Boemi's on lap time 22. We've gone green. So, no, yellow flag's back out. So we have got 2 cars. There he is. And this will bring out a red flag for sure. Mitch Evans has stopped on the circuit. So what are we going to have now with a minute to go? Stopped on the track is car 9, Mitch Evans. Okay, so it's on the backstretch. We are clear. Do we need a red flag, or can we get away with this to end the session and get some valuable data on a practice start? It's dry today. You need that running order. Green flag. Has he got going? I think he has. James Barkley's watching on, keeping an eye on it. Still says stop sector 2. It says green flag, so whether or not he's got going again, we'll have to wait and see. Yes, he has. Mitch Evans refires the battery, and up he goes. And with 50 seconds to go. He does not stop the session or cause a red flag. He has kept it on the deck. Let's hear from him.
Session.
Did it come up when you were braking? Or as you were rolling?
It's not working. I know it's
Oh, and now he's crawling.
on throttle.
Okay, then we're okay to continue.
363.
He's crawling in now. So they're not best pleased with what's happening out there. I've got him on my other monitor, and he is just tiptoeing on. Yellow flag, turn 8.1, and that's him again. He stopped. Yeah, he stopped under the bridge. Oh, so another problem for Mitch Evans then. Another yellow flag, but the checkered's out now, so we can't red flag the session. But Webby, Van Dorn, Barnard, they've all taken it. Nick de Vries has stayed inside the pit lane, so won't have anything else done there. There's the flag! And Van Dorn stays 17th. So this yellow effectively stops any running for a fast lap time. You have to lift, and you automatically use your lap time anyway. De Vries is in the pit lane. There's all hail, chaos. Wow, 4, 5 and 6 chicane. As several cars fly in, de Grassi included in that, and the 2 Kairos of Beckman and Tincton. All sorts of mayhem going on into the braking zone. We've got Cassidy just ahead. Beckman's on a lap time, but the yellow flag's still out there for Cassidy, for Evans' car there, so his teammate's going to spoil the run. You have to lift under a yellow. Can't tell the fast lap time, and they've all lifted now under the double yellow. So Cassidy's been done. The Kairos, the Cooper Kairos have got the look of the old Jordans from about 2001, which is a great look, but it sort of stops the session. Okay, flag's out, everyone's taken it. Let's head back to Ben.
Pushed down a little bit because the Nissan Power, actually top 3, isn't it? Because Jake Dennis with McLaren is also with Nissan Power. So Nissan showing good form here.
Yeah, 3 of the top 5 with the Nissan powertrain there.
Yeah.
Taylor Barnard jumping up there at the end. Great lap from him. You know, he's only got 3 races under his belt in Formula E, so he's very much still a full-time rookie coming into this season. And great to see him at the front in free practice. He's hit the ground running.
Yeah, Jake Dennis, sorry, Porsche Power, yes, and you're right, Barnard with Nissan Power. So Jake Dennis is actually the top of the Porsche-powered ones, but that was, I think, partly because some of those didn't get a chance to do another quick lap at the end because of the yellow flags. So that sort of changed things. It doesn't give us a full story, and we won't get a full story really all the way through. And even when we get to qualifying, we find out who's on pole and who we find wins this weekend. I know, hearing from the teams, that they're saying it could take 2 or 3 races before we really understand who the top teams are, because they're all going through different tests, different strategies until they really learn what works.
Yeah, they've all had the opportunity to upgrade their powertrains from last season to this season. You're seeing now everyone sort of figuring out where it is. Amazing from the Nissans, I have to say. They were struggling a bit last year. We saw Oliver Rowland have a great season, even with a car that didn't look like the best car. I tell you what, if Oliver Rowland has one of the strongest powertrains, he can be a very serious threat for this championship.
Indeed. Well, it'll be fascinating to see. They're doing practice starts now. This is always allowed at the end of practice sessions, and it could be crucial coming into the race tomorrow. But we've had all the action of the day in this first free practice, with Oliver Rowland setting the outright pace from Norman Nato.
Yep, here's your results then. It's Oliver Rowland fastest, Norman Nato second, Nissan take a 1-2. Jake Dennis ahead of Eduardo Mortara, Taylor Barnard, Mitch Evans stopping on the circuit from Robin Frines, Antonio Felix da Costa, Pascal Wehrlein, Nick Cassidy, Jake Hughes, Nick de Vries, Maximilian Gunther, Lucas de Grassi, Jean-Eric Verne, Sebastian Buemi, Stoffel Van Dorn, David Beckman, Dan Tincton, Zay Maloney, Sam Bird and Nico Muller. So down to the pits with Nicky.
Unfortunately, he had to miss 2 races due to sickness, but he was probably fighting at the top and would have been fighting for the title had he not missed those 2 races, I'm sure. So very exciting, but at the same time, as we touched upon there in the session, it is tricky to read into those times too much, because this is the first practice session, not just of the weekend, but of the season. There are still so many things that the drivers, the teams are doing runs for. How much can we really read into it?
Well, it is an indication already, but today is a bit more a picture of how they deal with used tires, because obviously they all had to start with a new set, and then the peak of the tire is gone, and most of the teams have the look, they've kept a new set for tomorrow. So tomorrow's session they will start with used tires, and then they will put the new tire, and then that peak of the tire, which is a second and a half, will show, and then we'll have a better picture. But it's already cool to see how fast the cars go. You know, I could see how nice it is with the four-wheel drive, how they cleanly drift out the corners, and yeah, really, really cool to see that.
Brilliant. Well, as if by magic, look who's appeared. Hello, James Barkley. I think the last time we spoke, which was at the end of what was a fantastic race for you guys, clinching the team's championship. Obviously, let's park the Drivers' Championship to the side for one moment. But how's the off-season been for you? What have you been up to?
Well, it's an incredibly busy time, and it's great to be back here. It's great to be back racing, isn't it? So looks like we just missed the rain as well, but no, it's great. It's been a long, busy, they use the phrase off-season. There's no off-season. We've been really busy getting ready for this new car, new generation. It's a very exciting time for everybody, and as you saw today, it's going to be, I think, a really close season.
And a new brand. I mean, I'm loving Jaguar with a capital G.
Thank you, very proud.
It was a very big moment for you guys, obviously launching the new Concept 00, and also a big moment launching your new livery here on the top of a helipad earlier in the week. What a way to do it.
Yeah, you know, it's very exciting. It's very rare in your career you get to be part of something like this. And it's been, yeah, we're very honoured to carry the new reimagined Jaguar brand as we reimagine Jaguar as an all-electric car company in the future. So it's exciting. We've got a job to do here, which is to prove our technology on the racetrack and bring that to our future Jaguar road cars, and no better way to do that as reigning world champions.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're coming into this first race weekend. The pressure is very much on from the beginning. I mean, we heard, at least, Cassidy on the radio. Already seemed a little bit disgruntled. What was going on there?
No, not disgruntled. These are drivers who want to absolutely excel, Nikki, and this is not a walk in the park. We're here to move ourselves forward, and that's the reality. You know, these sessions are really important. First session, competitive session of the year, dialing the car into the track. These early laps in session 1 and session 2 are what sets you up for a good qualifying. So it's just business as usual, trying to get the job done, as Andre knows well.
Business as usual. Well, James, we all wish you all the best for a fantastic season. I'm looking forward to really properly having a chat with James, though, to find out how the tensions really are between Mitch Evans and Nick Cassidy. Now it is time to go over to Katie and Katie. Let's find out who she's with. And Alexa.
Yeah, so we're at one of the most competitive garages, I think everyone agrees, across the Formula E paddock with Porsche. We might be able to grab a driver in a minute to hear their thoughts after free practice. Alexa, what a season. Oh, we've got Florian.
So you don't want to hear from me. I think this is the man we want to hear from.
Come and have a chat. Incredible season for you guys last year. What's the plan this year? I mean, do you think you can do the teams and the drivers?
You cannot rest on the success from the past. This means full focus on the new season. Clear, we want to be good for wins again and defend the Drivers' Championship, but there's also the new manufacturer's title, the World Championship, and that's also a clear goal from us.
And lots of development in the off-season, now of course moving into the Gen 3 Evo era. How are things looking different for you guys this year? Feeling just as confident?
In this series you will never be confident because the competition level is so high, but I think we did our homework. We had a good pre-season test. This session also now in FP1 looked good. We are looking forward for tomorrow.
And Da Costa and Pascal were setting really, really similar times in that session. Is that something that you're looking to emulate throughout the season, particularly with Da Costa's struggles in quali last year?
Yeah, this must be the target. We had a good pre-season test with Antonio, where he was always matching Pascal, now also in FP1. And this we need to target also for tomorrow, because we need 2 strong cars up there to be good to fight for all championships.
Thanks, Florian. Heading back to Nikki now. Let's see who she's got.
Katie, Alexa, thank you so much. Always good to hear from Florian Modlinger. Now we're very excited to have our first interview with new team principal at DS Penske, Bill Charles. How are you? And how is it going in the camp with your new driver, Max Günther?
Yeah, all good. So we've had a good first session, lots of data. This is a track that's a little bit different to where we've been testing, particularly different to Harama, as you all know. Big, fast-flowing corners in Harama, stop-start here. So another good data set, and we've learnt quite a lot already. And Max has certainly settled in well, and he's doing a great job.
I did see her. We're all staying in pretty much the same hotel, so we've got the same catering at breakfast. We had a good chat at breakfast, and he seemed really excited, in a very good place. And it seemed like him and Jev had kind of been helping each other out, which is a good start because Jean-Eric Verne is maybe not a driver that tends to share information. Oh, I don't know.
No, it's actually the contrary. He knows how important it is in a team to work together. So when I was his teammate, he helped me really a lot to get to grips to Formula E because he knew the faster I get up to grips, the more it will help him to push the team. So I think he's adopting that strategy with Max as well.
But you had a very special relationship. Jean-André, but that's a whole other story.
But tell me, Charles, how representative is this session now? We know the tires are quite different. I think everyone is keeping one set for tomorrow. So today is representing a bit more the pace, what the race will be, or tell me a bit more.
Yeah, sure. So the temperature is a little bit nearer to what you'll see in the race than first thing in the morning when we're closer to qualifying. But also the track is very dusty. So we're trying to get the temperature in window for the race, but we know the track will improve a lot. So it's trying to correct for that as you go forward.
Phil, always a pleasure and good luck for this very exciting season for you. Have a good one indeed. Right, let's go back down to Katie and Alexa. Who are you with, guys?
We found Norman. Norman, back to Nissan. How are you feeling? How's things being? You were here obviously in the 22 and 23 season. How are you feeling now being back with the team?
Well, to be honest, it's been quite a good session for us. Ended up P1 and P2 were quite quick in 300 and in 350. To be honest, it's only FP1. Like the track was still quite dirty, so I expect the condition to be really different tomorrow. But I mean, I take it honestly. Like it's pretty much the first time where you are in kind of race condition, so it's quite. It's always a good feeling to be in this position. But you know, like it's Formula E, so from one day to another, everything can change pretty quickly.
Well, it's that first time in these race representative conditions, as you said. But how's the Gen 3 Evo feeling? Pretty different or pretty similar?
No, I mean it's fast, especially when you go on four-wheel drive in between the walls. It's like it's quite fast, but it's fun. Honestly, like it's in terms of driving as well. You have to adapt yourself quite a lot compared to the non-wind drive. So it's something in the car we're still learning, and same with the setup of the car, setting, etc. We pretty much like learning because this is something I'm pretty sure like. More we'll go into the season, more step we're gonna do. But at the moment, it feels to seem quite okay. But let's see tomorrow.
Sorry, go on, Katie.
We're fighting over questions. We want to know so much. You were saying a bit about the adapting from the driving style, obviously with the four-wheel drive now. Andre was joking in the commentary box. It's a bit more like rally. Have you got any rally experience?
Well, you can tell me. Like I never drove a rally car actually, so I wish I could. But no, like I mean, it's more like the traction and the way you pick up the throttle, which is different, and like also the confidence that you have that you can apply like so much throttle application earlier at the apex, and you're like, can I trust it or not? So it's it's a feeling which is a bit weird at the beginning because you're in between the wall, and obviously like if you do a bit too much, you crash your car. So yeah, but it's fun.
And the attack mode, how people are saying you might be able to take 3 cars here. Do you agree with that?
Well, let's see tomorrow night. Honestly, for now we have no idea. It's gonna be for sure like really powerful, but what's gonna happen tomorrow, honestly, it's still unclear at the moment.
Perfect. Well, good luck this weekend. I think we're about to head over to James at the E-Pad now.
Thank you. I'm here with Dan Ticktum. Dan, very exciting session. A lot of people missing the braking at turn 1. You were one of them. What was the challenges out there?
Missed it a few times. Turn 1 last couple of times, but really quite terrible today. So yeah, I didn't put a lap together in 350. You know, 350 with 4 drives, at least a second and a half round here. So
we've got a tiny clip here, which is you going into turn 4, 5. Driver's eye. What are you looking for as you approach turn 4?
There's tactics here, but I like to sort of aim for this apex to keep the braking straight. You've got to really kill the minimum here to prepare the exit, because this is off camber here now, which is really horrible. So it's quite easy to make a mistake on the exit.
Big difference with the four-wheel drive on the exit on traction?
Yeah, as well. So yeah, I think the pace is pretty good together, which is, as you know, is very frustrating. So
it's okay. It's only free practice 1. Good luck for the rest of the weekend. Thank you very much for your time.
Yes, no worries. Cool.
Speak to you later.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Team Principal Roger Griffiths. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you very much.
Have you been serenaded all day?
I
Thanks.
know,
I thought you might ditch me actually and leave me hanging.
The team principals actually sang it to me in the Fatama meeting earlier. I'd have to say we're not going to win the Eurovision Song Contest, but it was very touching.
Stick to what you know.
Yeah.
How are you? How are things in the camp? Head of season 11, new driver Nico Müller.
Yep. No, it's other than the minor speed bump that we had in this session with Nico brushing the wall, it's been going really, really well. I felt we had a very strong test in Harama. Jake in particular, 300 was very, very strong. I think we've seen a re-energized Jake coming into this season, so super pleased with that. We've had no staff changes, so continuity on the racing team side. It's been really good, so very pleased and so happy to be back into season 11 here in Brazil. So.
Yeah, I mean, you must be pretty chuffed to have signed Nico Müller. I think he scored 54 of the 56 points with his team last year, so hopefully that will continue.
Going to be a very strong teammate for Jake. You know, maybe that's what's re-energized Jake coming into this season. So let's see. I mean, he's got a good reputation behind him, and hopefully he can deliver on the racetrack.
You've been giving Jake a lot of new friends. Like, is this what, fifth or sixth?
Yeah,
different team?
I think fifth new teammate. Like Jake said, he's not sure it's whether because his teammates don't like him or he scares them off. I'm not sure which is the truth, but.
Well, we'll leave you to answer that question. Yeah. Now we are going to go back 2 days at the E-Pad with a new rookie driver. It's Zane Maloney.
Thanks, Nikki. I'm here with Zane Maloney here, the only true rookie on the grid. How was it out there for your first session officially as a Formula E racing driver?
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, the track started off quite far away. We just had to build into it. The traffic was quite bad as well. Just getting used to everything. I mean, it's FP1.
And what was the biggest challenge out there for you? Was there a lot to get used to adapt, the circuit conditions?
Yeah, I mean, we're still moving forward every single lap with the car, so that's quite difficult. And then the traffic out there was bad, so getting in clean air was difficult as well. So I mean, obviously now I know why they have loop stages here.
Okay, so we've got a little bit of onboard from you here going into turn 4 and 5. I think you're going to have to.
Yeah, I mean, generally we were just struggling on braking and traction, so it's probably losing a bit everywhere compared to the top guys. But yeah, go analyze some data now and see where we can improve.
And well, thank you very much for your time, and we look forward to seeing how you progress over the rest of the weekend. Good luck.
Yeah, so we're back here outside the Envision garage, a very strong team. They were so strong at the end of last year, both having podiums at the last races of the season. What's your thoughts on this year's lineup?
To be honest, I think they're going to want to improve from last year. Having won the Teams Championship the year before, last year was ultimately a real disappointment for them. They did get those podiums towards the end of the season. The momentum was picking up. They've stuck with Sebastian Buemi and Robin Freins for this year, which two drivers with so much experience, I think that makes a lot of sense. And almost that kind of vote of faith in their corner from a driver's perspective, that must be quite nice for them.
I think so, but actually another team that we're at now, Maserati, completely new driver lineup. I think that's always really energizing when the team, it keeps you fresh. What's your thoughts on the two drivers now?
Now this is really interesting. Stoffel van Dorn, a former Formula E world champion, alongside Jake Hughes. He's been with McLaren, had real potential. I'm curious as to how they're going to settle in there.
Yeah, and then I guess the last team that we've got in our little pit lane walk here, we've got Mahindra. Also, apparently they've had a really good setup from their engineer in the pre-season testing. I think we can expect big things from them as well this weekend.
Yeah, now this is also one I'm really, really curious about, because this pairing, they had a tough year last year, but Eder Mortara had that real flash of hope with getting a pole position in Berlin. So, I don't know, if what we're hearing is true, it'd be a good year for them.
Back to you, Nikki.
Thank you, guys. We are hanging outside the McLaren garage, which is where Taylor Barnard, he's found his new home. He did have 3 races last year in Monaco and Berlin while he was stepping into the driving seat when Sandberg had broken his hand. But he did so well. He finished in the points twice, which is quite an achievement, really, for a driver for such a young age. But now he is here to stay.
Yeah, and he showed a very good performance already in P4 in the free practice. So it's really great to see a young driver. He's only 20, you know, and there's a lot of experience. And it's a very hard championship to get into. You don't have much testing, and it's you need to push the limits, but sometimes the limits are the walls. So it's not a championship where you can go test a lot. So yeah, hats off to him.
Let's try and get through all of the teams because we're almost there. We got 90 seconds till we're off air. Let's talk about Lola. Brand new team to the circuit. What are they going to do?
Yeah, they mean serious business. They've shown some good performance already in the free practice, and I love the livery. It's so cool to see the Lola name back in motorsport, and obviously they have the help from the app team, so they have experienced people on board. Lucas has a lot of experience, and a rookie driver, so I think the combo is very good.
Yeah, it is a great livery, but unfortunately they don't sell flat pack furniture. I did check. And then, of course, we've got Kiro, Dan Tickton. What a great job he did in testing.
Yes, and they finally have a good powertrain. Last year as a ERT team, they didn't really have a really good package, but now with the Porsche powertrain, there's no more excuses.
Excellent. Thank you very much, guys, down there as well. Brilliant to hear from you all as well. So, UK times, 10:30 tomorrow. You can join us for free practice 2. Qualifying, we're on here from 12:30. The race, we are on from 4 o'clock with lights out at 5. And the post-race press conference is coming your way as well, live from there. First practice done then, and Friday done. Thanks for your company. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Jess will take you through practice 2, and Ed will join her for qualifying, and we'll all three be on for the first E-Prix of the season. Bye-bye.